Hey, I wanted to talk to you a minute today about the gig economy. What is the gig economy? It's basically the side hustle, side income economy that's become so popular today and age. I hope you're still listening to this ad because it's really important for me. I was in the network marketing industry for over 13 years and I had an incredible experience. I learned a ton of things, but there were many things about the industry of network marketing that I really didn't love. One of which was the overinflated products. Number two was the fact that I had to build a team or balance those things that we would call legs, the whole pyramid thing. I really was done with that. About a year ago, I was introduced to a social retail company. Social retail simply means that we are using our social media platforms, which are free, by the way, to promote products and services that we love. The affiliate marketing is booming. Not even going to lie. It's an incredible place to be in. And I am speaking to the woman who's in her 30s or maybe in her 40s, and she'd like to create that extra income. She'd like to create income on her own time. And she'd like to do it in a company that isn't all about the hype, that has some real products that she can get behind and would work with somebody who wants to teach her how to do that. If that's you, then I would really love it if you would reach out to me. Feel free to comment below or leave me an email. Scan the code. I'm sure there's a code somewhere if you're watching on my YouTube channel, but I would love to get in touch with you. And this is why. The company that I'm with, modere.com or modere.ca, depending on where you're at, check out shiftingretail.com. So that's shiftingretail.com. I want you specifically to go check out the values of this company and what their mission is. That was really important for me. I got flown down to the corporate offices and I had a chance to meet with the corporate crew and meet with the visionaries that are really driving the company forward. And what I discovered is this. The first thing they said to me was, Candice, when people come here from a network marketing company, they start making money. Now, disclaimer, this is work. This is going to take work. This is going to take energy, effort, time, and skill. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Those don't exist, at least not ones that I would like to put my name behind. However, this company pays us 10 to 36% on commissions of whatever we've moved within our business. And we get paid daily. We get paid up to twice daily. Biggest, coolest thing about this, if I move product, I get paid on the product, period. No balancing legs, no having to do any of that stuff. If product moves because of a referral that I did, whether it was through my social media, through a swipe up influencer, or a person-to-person conversation, doesn't matter. I'm going to get paid on it. And for me, being paid on the work and the effort that I do is important. So if this is something that's intriguing to you, I invite you to head over to shiftingretail.com or head over to C Smiley, that's CSMILEY.shiftingretail.com, and you'll be able to join my team directly. If you've got some more questions, please comment below or find a way to contact me and get in touch, because I would love to share with you how we're building this and how affiliate marketing is the place for you to be. And trust me, once I show you how to do it with this company, I will show you the many companies, brick and mortar stores, you name it, sole proprietors, entrepreneurs who have an affiliate-based idea. And once you can do it with one company, you can do it with any of them. So I'm excited to teach you that. In fact, so excited, we're going to give you 120 days of done-for-you post or text that will help you so that you don't have to worry about what to post or when to post or how to post it. We're going to give all of that to you. You just got to show up with drive, determination, and some cash flow to get you started. $39.99 gets you your affiliate link and code and gets ready to start. Maybe you want to try some product too. It's awesome. But up to 2 customer orders actually qualifies you for commission. So you don't even have to place an order, provided you've got customer orders that are moving in your business. Brand new customer orders qualify you for commissions every month. Super cool. Definitely an opportunity for somebody who wants to come in, put some effort in and work with integrity, work with honesty, but really begin to use the social media time that right now is really just wasted time and turn that into cash flow. Awesome. Hope you have a wonderful day and keep enjoying our show. All right. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Create the Ripple podcast. I am your host, Candice Smiley, and this is the last episode of 2021. and our season 1. I'm pretty excited. We're going to be starting a fresh new season for you all in January 2022. We already have guests lined up. We're already doing some interviews, and I'm super stoked, as I always am, to come and connect with you and share some amazing stories, both mine and my guests, with you each and every week. Now, if this is your first podcast, welcome. I'm so glad you're tuning in. We launch these every Tuesday mornings, and we do our best to bring you conversations that take courage to be had. The tagline of the podcast is trust the niggle, tell the truth. And what do I mean by trust the niggle, tell the truth? Well, the niggle, as I see it, is that annoying, inconvenient truth, that sense you have in your gut that something's not right, that something needs to change, that maybe there's a bigger, better, fuller version of yourself that you could be living. And it's your invitation to listen, pay attention, and to make change. Now, the tell the truth part is less about telling your truth to the rest of the world, which we know that you will inevitably do. However, the telling the truth part is actually about you telling your truth to you. Because I think when you begin to tell yourself the truth of what is, you can begin to move, if you want to change that truth, into what truth you'd like to be living. You can start telling yourself different truths about your relationship. You can start telling yourself what you want to change about yourself, your vision, your mission, your passion, your job, your relationships, yourself. And it's interesting how when you begin to communicate that truth clearly to yourself, which frankly, as far as I'm concerned, telling yourself the truth is much harder than telling your truth to somebody else. Once you can be honest with yourself, you begin to live in this beautiful space of integrity with yourself. And let me tell you, as somebody who had a lot of secrets about what had happened to me, how I was processing them and dealing with them, or in some cases not dealing with them, that living in out of integrity with my own self was incredibly detrimental. It brought on anxiety, it brought on depression, it brought on a ton of issues. Also meant that I didn't make a lot of wise decisions in terms of partners and locations and jobs. And I was saying yes to a lot of things that I really wanted to say no to. And when you say yes to things that you should be saying no to, you're not able to finish them. You're not able to show up authentically to them. And people inevitably don't trust you. They don't trust you because you don't trust yourself, because you're not telling yourself the truth. And so the conversations that we engage in on the Create People podcast are really designed to interview people who have listened to themselves. They are living every day closer and closer to who they want to be, what they want to do in their lives, and then telling themselves the truth. And then from that place of integrity, living their lives out loud in a way that feels amazing. If there's one gift I could give to you, it would be that you would find a way to live in that level of integrity because it feels amazing. How do you know when you're listening to the niggle and you're telling yourself the truth? For me, it feels like the feeling of relief. It feels like a tiny little lift in my gut, this little shift. And I think, oh, that's the way I want to go. And I tell you, I've been following that feeling of relief, which I know some people would call bliss, but it's not always blissful. Sometimes listening to the niggle and telling yourself the truth is really uncomfortable and highly inconvenient to your plans, to your life, to what's going on. It means change. And for most of us, we don't like change. Change has a way of impacting areas of our lives that maybe we were quite comfortable in. So I follow the feeling of relief, and that relief leads me minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour, day by day, to the biggest and best version of myself. So we intend to do more of that in the new year. Now, what did I learn in 2021? Well, I learned a lot of things. I usually pick a few words to describe my year. I was really very clear on my values, in which I have 10. I have done a values exercise. If you have not done a values exercise, I will drop a link below for an amazing interview that I got to do with an incredible guest this year who has an entire business around knowing your values. And I would highly encourage you to start off your 2022 with less resolutions and with more intention to know yourself, to know your values, so that you can begin to operate from your values. I love to offer value. And value is just increase. Like, what if we left every person and circumstance that you came in contact with a feeling of increase? A feeling of increase means more, bigger, better, awesome, right? I would highly encourage you to read the book Essentialism. I will drop a link to that in the comments below. And the reason for that is I actually read the book 4 times this year. 4 times. That is how important this book has become to me. I would call myself not a minimalist anymore, although that was certainly part of my shift. I'm actually an essentialist now. And of course, that's a title, so you can call yourself whatever you like. But an essentialist does less, but better. And for me, that was really more about what I was looking for in my life. When I lived a different life, where I spent more money on things I didn't want, things I didn't need, lived in a bigger house, there was a lot more anxiety. There was certainly a lack of integrity in my life. And now I feel like because my life is smaller, I live much bigger. And that's really the whole essentialism concept, which is less but better. And I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for a good book to read, I would highly recommend that one. Of course, we'll have a link to purchase that down below. What did I learn? I think I learned more about being present. So one of my words certainly was presence this year. I started off the year knowing I wanted to expand my family, and that happened. We welcomed baby Jack in early November, and we're very grateful that he is here. It was certainly always a wish of mine, a wish, a hope, a dream, an intention to continue to expand my family. I stayed in a lot of relationships, a couple of really good ones, to be honest, with men who did not want to have more children. And that was incongruent to me. It was certainly incongruent to what I wanted. And when I started to tell myself the truth of that, that meant those relationships ended, which was not comfortable and certainly caused some pain. But from those places and spaces, I was staring at his beautiful little face. And I remember thinking, I almost gave this up. And so a gentle encouragement from me to you as we head into 2022 is to really trust the niggle and be honest with yourself about something that you might want that maybe people in your life aren't necessarily ready to support you on. And maybe it's not as significant as ending a relationship so you can have more children. I certainly hope not. I wouldn't wish that pain on you in any way, shape, or form. But perhaps there's something that you want to add into your life or remove from your life or make a change. Or maybe there's a conversation that you need to have with someone to reestablish how they're treating you. Or maybe you need to set up a self-care so that you can take better care of yourself. Whatever that is, I hope that you begin to tell yourself the truth of that as somebody who is telling yourself the truth of those things, regardless of whether or not the people in my life think it's possible or think it's wise to continue to grow my life and my podcast and my family. But I got to tell you, it's an incredible amount of joy that I'm currently experiencing. And I'm so grateful that I'm listening to the desires of my heart that are being whispered and that sort of thing. What else did I learn this year? I learned about living in the fullness of my feminine. I say fullness because I learned in 2020 to reconnect with my feminine. It was all about reconnection and healing after 14 weeks. I will drop a link to my feminine balance coach and some of the people who supported me through 2020 to find myself and to fall in love with my own self and reconnect to my feminine. But I learned how to live in the fullness of my feminine, which means I was actually learning how to operate my business, which I had operated entirely from my masculine up until now. So there's a real disconnect between mom mode and business mode, whereas I'm learning as a woman and living in my feminine, I'm able to more easily navigate those two. The feminine is all about receiving. It's not about sitting back and letting life happen to you. No, women birth babies, let's be real. And when it's time to push, we deliver. So I think you need to remember that, ladies. If you're wondering how to live in your feminine, certainly drop me a link or drop me a comment. Feel free to engage with me, however you're listening to this podcast, and I'd be happy to share some of the resources that have been an incredible resource. And in fact, I will go one step further and I will drop links down below to some of the books that have had a huge impact me on in 2020 and into 2021 about embracing my feminine, becoming feminine. I'll drop some books about masculinity. I also read about them because I wanted to know, what would a real man look like? And real man, I hate to use that, right? I don't want to put labels on it or diminish it, but what would a man look like if he was living in his masculine? What would that look like? And I did read a number of articles and a number of authors. So I had a pretty broad range of what that could look like. And then how might I respond if I was living deeply and fiercely into my feminine? So it's been an absolutely incredible journey to come to that place and space where I am able to begin to live and breathe and move in the fullness of my feminine. And I say fullness because I certainly got fuller as a woman as I grew with, as course I was carrying baby Jack all of 2021. But also living into the fullness. So what does it mean to really fully receive? Like receiving a compliment. When's the last time you received a compliment? It is an incredibly beautiful thing. When someone gives you a compliment, don't brush it off. Don't push it away. That's your own self-worthiness, fear of being a narcissist thing going on. But when someone gives you a gift, you can actually give the gift right back to them in this beautiful, amazing way. Let me share it with you right now. When someone gives you a compliment, you look them in the eye, if it's at all possible, over Zoom or whatever, but you look them in the eye and you pause and you say, thank you. And the power of receiving a compliment is such a gift to the other person. It's like a hug. It feels amazing. It's presence. It's being present. It's absolutely amazing. And I highly encourage you to adopt that habit into 2022. I learned about trusting myself. I learned about listening to the niggle, whether that was keeping clients or letting them go, whether that was telling my truth. I learned that I can trust myself. I'm seeing evidence of what it means when I trust myself, whether it's the niggle, whether it was I thought someone was thinking about me, whether it was how to respond in a conversation or what I could do or should say. I'm learning the beauty of trusting myself. And I would love to go back to my 17-year-old self, my 15-year-old self, my 14-year-old self and say, trust yourself more. You might make a mistake, but if you trust yourself more and you're not worried about what other people think or say or do or any of those things, then you'll tell yourself the truth. You'll learn something from it, but you need to learn to trust yourself. You know what's best for you. And if you don't, and you're given new information, new knowledge, and you learn something, then you can make a change. But trust yourself to make the right decisions at the right time, good, bad, or otherwise, and to make an adjustment accordingly. Trust yourself. So I've been learning more about that, whether it's being a mom again. I certainly trust myself much more as a second-time mom than the first time around. I certainly I'm learning how to trust myself in my relationship with Mark. I'm learning how to trust Mark more. I'm learning how to trust my own voice, my own intuition, my sense, whether that's in business and relationship and friendships. I'm learning how to trust myself. And then as I trust myself, show up and speak my own truth. And it's been absolutely incredible just how it feels. I have learned how to communicate better. I have learned how to communicate in a relationship with Mark in a way that is, I think, productive most of the time. I have learned how to begin to pause negative habits that weren't necessarily in my best good or for my highest. And that's been a magical thing. I have learned even the other day, Mark and I were communicating about something, and I had an opportunity to lessen the intensity of the truth of what I was saying in order to make him feel comfortable. And between you and me, the old me would have done everything in her power to avoid conflict, to avoid inflicting any kind of pain on the other person, regardless if it was their perception or not. I would try to read the room, read the situation, and try to minimize myself, mitigate any kind of negative response. And yes, play small to them, play to their small self, play to my small self, and not live in the fullness of who I was and who I am. And I didn't do that. And it was really interesting because I actually said it. I said, I could say something different right now, but I'm actually going to tell you the truth. It's not necessarily something that you want to hear, but I'm going to tell it to you because that for me feels much more, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels more authentic and it feels more kind and loving to you to tell you the truth, even though the truth may in the moment cause you a little bit of pain. So that's been really powerful. Trying to think what else I've learned that I wanted to share with you. I want to say a big, huge thank you. Of course, when we started at the beginning of the year, we had not only the Create the Ripple podcast, which started in February, but we also had the Create the Ripple magazine. And We ended up closing that after 6 editions. And frankly, that was one of the things I've been most proud of. I looked at it the other day because the articles are still online. You can see them on issue.com, Create the Purple magazine. And we had some incredible authors. We featured some incredible people. We had people like our very first edition. Thank you so much. But we had Bob Berg, who wrote an article for us. It was on adding value. And if you've been hanging out with me for any amount of time, you know that one of my favorite books in the whole world is the book, The Go-Giver. And The Go-Giver, Bob Berg wrote it. We had a co-author as well. We'll make sure there's a link down below. And that's one of the books that absolutely changed the way I operate in the world. It certainly changed the way I operate my businesses. It's changed the way I function in the world. In this book, there are 5 simple, but they're stratospheric. That's what they call them. 5 stratospheric laws of success. They change the game. And it's all about adding value. And so that was actually the topic of our very first Create the Purple publication, was about adding value. And that was our goal and our intent. Certainly the magazine was an extension of myself. At least I saw that to be the case. We featured incredible people like Dr. Gans, who just brought some incredible, amazing awarenesses to our men's issues and mental well-being issue that we published in March, which was one of my favorites, to be completely honest. I had been so fascinated by the topics around men and women, feminine, masculine, genders, you name it. That stuff fascinates me, how we choose to show up in the world. And so if you haven't had a chance to read some of that, I would encourage you to. They're free. You can go and download them and check them out. But there were some incredible people that we got to feature and talk to and interview. And I'm just so proud of what we did. Of course, our May edition was the final edition, and it was the edition that I had originally intended to create. It took us 5 editions previous to make it happen. And it was our woman empowerment issue. And we talked about a lot of issues, and I feel like we just scratched the surface, to be completely honest. And so, we engaged in the magazine in conversations that mattered. I think on the podcast, that's still an intention here for sure, to have conversations that matter. And I want to say big kudos to each of the people who contributed to the magazine. Thank you to the team that made that magazine possible. It would have been impossible without you. And certainly to each of the guests that I've had on the podcast this year. I have loved turning on the camera and sharing space with you. I've loved sharing your interviews and your stories and the impact with my listeners. But to be honest, to be completely honest with you, I have received the most value from doing this. I have received incredible value in my life by being able to show up and interview you, and for each of my guests showing up and being authentic with me. It's been an absolutely incredible experience. And so, of course, we will have some links down below. If you haven't gone back to listen, go back and listen. They're on iTunes, Spotify, you name it, wherever you stream your podcast. We're on Audible, for goodness sake. So if you're on Amazon, you've got an Audible account, you can listen to us. We'd love that. And here's a really candid ask. If you haven't yet reviewed the podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Audible, I would love it. If you receive value from what we've done, we would absolutely love if you would leave us likes, comments, shares, or go and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Leave us that note. And then, of course, as you review it and you leave us that positive feedback that the episode you listened to actually had value and shared value with you, that continues to push the podcast out to other people who maybe need to hear it. And of course, this year we have some incredible collabs. I literally just finished recording a podcast with an incredible couple of gals, and we have more amazing collaborations coming up in 2022. Like, I'm stoked, and I don't even know all of the pieces, but I just have this sense that 2022 is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to share it with you. If you're somebody who's listening and you have a story, would love to interview you. So please feel free to head over to the website, which is CandiceSmiley.com. And right on the front page, you can apply to be on the podcast. We would love to hear your story. Of course, head over to the website, because, of course, there is a new space now. There's My Favorite Things. So on the top menu, you'll see My Favorite Things. That's a place where I'm posting links to the books I always mention with an easy Amazon link, so you can go grab it. to the different things that support me in my motherhood, things that support me in my essentialist lifestyle and my business lifestyle, things I love, people, places, things, referrals, you name it. I'm really proud of that section, to be completely honest, because for me as an essentialist, it's not about spending unnecessary money. It's about putting my money in the right place and supporting people who have had an impact on me. So please head over to that section and check it out. And you've got to head over to the website because, of course, that's where the podcast archive is. You can go and see that if you've missed an episode. Each of the show notes, there's transcripts there now of all of our episodes. Yeah, we're doing as much as we can to continue to bring value. The blog is going to be increased in 2022. I have got some things I want to be sharing with you, whether it's how-tos with being a homeschool mom and running a busy business, to backcountry checklists, so that if you are somebody who would like to embrace more of a minimalist lifestyle, more of the essentialist lifestyle, small home living, backcountry camping for a beginner, we're going to be doing a lot of things in there coming up this year, slow and steady. Okay, I'm still a mom, guys. I got to do things slow and steady. And I'm just super stoked about it. So I would love it if you head over there. Oh, and before I forget, we have a brand new gift for you. It's on Amazon. We have a Trust the Niggle journal. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. So number one thing that I would recommend for somebody who wants to learn to trust the niggle and tell themselves the truth is to begin the habit of journaling. This was one of the very first habits I embraced in my healing, was journaling. I couldn't talk about what had happened, or not out loud. At least that's taken, in some cases, 20 years to fully do. But I could write about it, and I could write about it in a way that helped me to process it, to deal with it. It's helped me to write down dreams, goals, visions, plans, you name it. And those things usually come true when you write them down. There's magic in writing things down. So we went one step further, and we have a Trust the Niggle journal for you available on Amazon. There will be a link, of course, in the comments for you to check that out. We're so excited about this. Complement to that, for free, my gift to you on the website is 9 not so simple questions that you can ask yourself to begin to take this journey to trust the niggle and tell yourself the truth. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, I have opened up a journal. It's so pretty, and I don't want to write the yuck of my life. I have wanted the reality of my life to pretty up there, or to wreck the pretty of that journal. So free for you, my gift to you is 9 not so simple questions that you can begin to ask yourself and use as a complement to this journal. Of course, I'd love that. We have it in a couple of different colors. And I did that because I, of course, would love it if you'd offer it to maybe a girl in your life. So maybe a preteen, a teen, a young woman. So we tried to put things together that would be supportive of regardless of where you are in your womanhood journey. Because of course, I really want more of these conversations. So I think the most important conversation that we as women can be having, could be having right now, is not the conversation that's outside in the world. It's actually the conversation that you're having with yourself. Because if we get that conversation right, if we begin to treat ourselves as the most beautiful, amazing human being, because we are, if we treat ourselves as the game changers, world changers, life changers that we are, that's where the change happens. We cannot give from an empty cup. We must give, as that saying goes, right? We must give from the overflow. So, not so simple questions. That's for free. You can go download the PDF on the website. It'll also give you a link to the new journals, which you can find on Amazon as well. And we'll be continuing to add to that. Final note, launching end of December, beginning of January, depending on when you're listening, I am launching a vision book, a book. So I've done the vision board thing. This is beyond the vision boards. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm telling you this, because this little simple shift in how you write down your vision board, how you record it, feel free to go and cut out the magazine pictures if you want to. But for me, I was hungry for results. I was hungry for, how very masculine of me, but I was hungry for change. I wanted the intentions I set in the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, whenever I set the intention, to actually come true. And the way that this organizes your thoughts, takes your success list, right? That list of things that you know that if you did, that might take 4, 5, 10 years to actually accomplish. If you actually move toward those things on your success list and converted your success list into a to-do list, feel free to head over to my TikTok to check out that stuff. But if you did that, so if you took the big, hairy, audacious things that are going to take a long time to do, and you converted those into to-dos and broke them down into a way that was easy for you to accomplish this year, because you will always overestimate what you're going to do in a day. Or maybe that's just me. I always overestimate what I can do in a day, but I underestimate what's possible in a year. So this particular way of organizing your thoughts around a vision board and intentions and resolutions, whatever you want to call them. So I call it, beyond the vision board. I want to give that to you. That is going to be launching end of December. You have to go check out the website for the official launch date. It will be on Amazon. It will be available for purchase. And we're doing this as a complement to the journal, as a complement to those not so simple questions, so that this year, 2022, can be the year that you actually start that podcast, that you actually leave that relationship, that you actually have the courage to talk to the person you want to be in a relationship with, that you finally do that thing that you would love to do and move one bit closer to the person that you really want to be, that you trust the niggle, tell yourself the truth, and then do something about it in a way that's supportive to you. So I think that's it for me. I want to say a big, huge, incredible kudos to the amazing Angel. She is my podcast producer. This podcast literally would be impossible without her. And I had an option to interview her. So she is one of the podcasts you can go and download from 2021. She's the one who encouraged me, pushed me. She is the backbone that makes this thing happen. And so, Angel, thank you so much for that. She's always behind the scenes, but if you've been a guest, you've talked to her and you know how amazing she is. And I'm just so incredibly blessed that this woman has heard my vision, aligned herself with it, and we are up to some really big things. I mean, seriously, guys, we are up to some amazing things in 2022. So we're still all about connection. We're still all about collaboration. We're still all about communication. Those are 3 keys for me. So if you were aligning to any of those, I welcome you to join us for season 2 of Create the Ripple podcast. We are just getting started. The best is totally yet to come. And I am just so honored and blessed that each of you has joined me, that you're listening, that you've been a supporter and a contributor, a guest, or just somebody who's been silently listening. We hope that you are receiving the value that we want this to give every single week. Real, authentic. Thank you. I am so grateful. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Are you looking for a simple, easy weight management solution? I thought you might be. I know I was. I also wasn't interested in something with a ton of gimmick without any science behind it, which I know a ton of companies have. The company I'm about to share with you actually has 12 of their own clinical studies. And for me, with my science-based background, I needed to know that. I also needed to know the product worked. And so I was introduced to the group that had 125,000 members in it, all supporting amazing stories of weight management, weight loss, hair regrowth. Oh my gosh. Not surprising though, considering the product itself has won numerous awards in and out of the nutraceutical industry, which I think is pretty incredible. Pretty exciting as well is the fact that it's made with their patented technology, 7 international patents on the collagen in this product, made entirely from chicken sternum. Chicken sternum, why? Because it most closely mimics the collagen that our own bodies create. Now, I'm a 36-plus-year-old woman, and so making sure that I'm maintaining and taking care of and trying to reverse the clock so I can age gracefully is super important to me. Making sure I'm taking products that are safe, making sure I'm taking products that are approved, and making sure I'm taking products that I would be happy to share because there's integrity at the top. So this company is a values-based company, which I absolutely love. Not only do I love that, but I love the flavors. This is mango. Mango's my favorite. This is from the Modera company, which you've heard me talk about before. 1 simple spoonful a day. In the morning, I can add it to my coffee if I feel like it. I don't add the mango, I add the vanilla to my coffee, but I can add a simple spoonful to my day. It tastes awesome. It tastes amazing. And it's helping my body to maintain the figure that I've worked to get to. Why not? Now, if you're looking for some weight management, this is going to help curb appetite. It's going to help your body to function as best. And we know that when you do something like that and you make wiser choices, your body says thank you. This is part of an entire system called the Lean Body System. I will make sure to post information for that below, or you're welcome to scan the QR code, which I know is going to be somewhere in the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, head over to modere.ca. That's MODERE, modere.ca, or modere.com, and use code 5579027. Again, 5579027 to save $10 on your next order, regardless of what you put in your cart. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the listen.